The crystalline throne room of the Zephyrian Empire stretched endlessly upward, its walls pulsing with bioluminescent veins that seemed to beat in rhythm with Queen Zerathia's mounting fury. Her 6 arms gestured wildly, each ending in razor-sharp talons that scraped against her obsidian throne as she leaned forward, her compound eyes fixed on the lone human standing before her. Raffi Chen stood perfectly still, his diplomatic uniform crisp despite the 3-day journey through hyperspace to reach this moment. Behind him, the massive doors sealed shut with a sound like breaking glass, leaving him alone with the most powerful being in the Andromeda sector. "You rejected my daughter." Queen Zerathia's voice reverberated through the chamber, translated by the neural implant behind Raffi's ear. "Princess Alvina offered herself to your species as a bridge between our civilizations, and you refused her." The Queen's chitinous exoskeleton shifted from deep purple to angry crimson, a display that had reportedly preceded the obliteration of 3 star systems. Her courtiers, tall, ethereal beings with gossamer wings, fluttered nervously in the alcove surrounding the throne, their whispered conversations creating a sound like wind through dead leaves. Raffi had prepared for this moment for months. The Terran Council had debated endlessly about the Alvina incident, as the media had dubbed it. Princess Alvina, the Queen's youngest daughter, had arrived on Earth 6 months ago with a proposal that shocked the galaxy, a permanent cultural and genetic exchange between humans and Zephyrians, with herself as the willing volunteer to begin the process. The implications were staggering. The Zephyrians controlled 17 systems, commanded technology that made human achievements look like stone tools, and possessed lifespans that stretched across millennia. An alliance with them could elevate humanity to heights unimaginable. And Earth had said no. "Your Majesty," Raffi began, his voice steady despite the weight of potentially billions of lives resting on his words. "Before I answer, may I ask what your daughter told you about her time on Earth?" The Queen's eyes narrowed, each faceted lens reflecting Raffi's image in fractured patterns. "She told me that humans were complicated, that your species confused her in ways she had never experienced, that you showed her kindness without expectation of reward, creativity without purpose, and emotions that served no evolutionary advantage." Raffi nodded slowly. "And what did she tell you about her final day with us?" "That she was rejected." The Queen's roar shook the chamber, sending several courtiers scattering. "That despite offering herself, a princess of the realm, heir to technologies beyond your comprehension, your people turned her away." "She told you we rejected her," Raffi repeated thoughtfully. "But did she tell you why?" The Queen paused, her color shifting to a more neutral blue-green. "Explain yourself, human." Raffi took a deep breath. This was it, the moment that would either forge an unprecedented alliance or doom humanity to extinction. "Your Majesty, we didn't reject Princess Alvina because we found her unworthy. We rejected the proposal because we found ourselves unworthy of her." Silence fell across the throne room like a heavy blanket. Even the courtiers stopped their nervous fluttering. "During her 6 months on Earth," Raffi continued, "Princess Alvina didn't just observe our technology or our governments. She lived among us. She worked in our hospitals, taught in our schools, helped in our refugee camps. She saw the best and worst of what we are. Our violence and our compassion, our ignorance and our curiosity, our fear and our hope." The Queen's color continued to shift, now cycling through shades Raffi couldn't interpret. "She told us stories of your people, Your Majesty, of civilizations that live in harmony for thousands of years, of conflicts resolved through logic and measured discourse, of a society where suffering has been virtually eliminated through technology and wisdom." Raffi's voice grew stronger. "But she also told us something else. She said that in all her centuries of life she had never laughed until she came to Earth. She had never cried from joy. She had never felt the strange, illogical compulsion to create art that serves no purpose except beauty." The Queen leaned back in her throne, her 6 arms now still. "Your daughter didn't come to us as a superior being offering charity to primitives," Raffi said. She came as someone seeking something her own perfect civilization couldn't provide, the beautiful, chaotic, irrational spark that makes us human. And when we realized that, we understood the truth. Which was, the Queen's voice had softened, no longer the commanding roar of moments before, that this wasn't about an alliance between an advanced species and a primitive one. This was about two different forms of life, each with something unique to offer. We rejected the proposal not because we couldn't learn from Princess Alvina, but because we realized we couldn't take from her what she was seeking without giving her something equally precious in return. Raffi stepped forward, breaking protocol but knowing that this moment required truth over diplomacy. We rejected the proposal because accepting it would have meant treating your daughter as a commodity and a transaction, rather than as a person, making a choice about her own life. The Queen's exoskeleton had now turned a soft, pearl-like white that Raffi had never seen in any of the briefing materials. She wanted to stay, the Queen said quietly. Yes, Raffi confirmed, but not as part of a political alliance. She wanted to stay because she had fallen in love, not with any individual, but with the concept of imperfection, of growth, of the beautiful struggle that defines human existence. And so you sent her home. We gave her a choice. We told her that she could stay as a refugee, as an immigrant, as a citizen, but not as a symbol or a bridge between civilizations. If she wanted to be human, she had to choose it freely, with all the rights and responsibilities that choice entailed. The Queen was silent for a long moment. Around them, the courtiers had grown completely still, hanging on every word. She chose to return home, Queen Zerathia finally said. To think about it, Raffi corrected. She said she needed to understand the full weight of what she would be giving up and what she would be gaining. We told her the door would always be open, but only if she came back as herself, not as a representative of her people. The Queen rose from her throne, her towering form casting long shadows across the chamber. For a moment, Raffi thought he might have miscalculated, that the Queen would order his execution for the perceived insult to her daughter. Instead, she began to laugh, a sound like crystal bells chiming in harmony. You rejected a princess because you respected her too much to accept her sacrifice. We rejected a political marriage, Raffi said, because we believed she deserved a real choice. The Queen's laughter subsided, but her pearl-white coloration remained. My daughter was right. Humans are indeed complicated. She paused, studying Raffi with her compound eyes. Tell me, human diplomat, what would your people say to a different kind of alliance? One built not on marriage or trade, but on the mutual exchange of what we each do best. Raffi felt his heart race. I think they would say that sounds like the beginning of a friendship. Yes, the Queen mused, settling back onto her throne. I believe my daughter would like that very much indeed. As the massive doors reopened, and Raffi prepared to leave, Queen Zerathia called out one final time. Human Raffi, when you return to your world, tell them this. The Zephyrian Empire is proud to call humanity our equals. And tell my daughter, tell her that her mother understands why she laughs now. Raffi bowed deeply, knowing that he was witnessing the birth of something unprecedented in galactic history. An alliance built not on power or necessity, but on the recognition that sometimes the greatest strength lies in admitting what you don't know. And the greatest wisdom comes from those brave enough to choose their own path. As he walked toward his ship, Raffi couldn't help but smile. Princess Alvina had been right about humans being complicated. But perhaps, he thought, that was exactly what the galaxy needed.